ಡೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೋರೊಟೇಟರಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಸೈನ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಡಿ ಬರಿತೀವಿ. ಲಿವೋರೊಟೇಟರಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ minus sign and small letter L. In alkaline medium, what is the form of alanine? It will be in anionic form. Hello my dear students, welcome back to part C of Karnataka CET 2010 question paper. We shall start with 41st question. The letter D in D-glucose signifies option A, dextrorotatory, option B, configuration at all chiral carbons, option C, configuration at a particular chiral carbon, option D, it is a monosaccharide. So what is that they are asking? They are asking what does this D mean? ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಡೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೋರೊಟೇಟರಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಸೈನ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ ಅಥವಾ small letter D ಬರಿತೀವಿ. Levorotatory means it will be minus sign and small letter L. But capital letter D stands for the configuration at a particular chiral carbon. Not all chiral carbon atoms. At one particular carbon atom, what is the configuration? That signifies D, isn't it? So, next question. Reaction of methyl bromide with aqueous sodium hydroxide involves SN1 mechanism, racemization, SN2 mechanism, inversion of configuration. So it is methyl bromide, that is CH3Br with aqueous NaOH. What is the mechanism? It will undergo SN2 mechanism, isn't it? Thus, option C is the right answer. Next question. 9.65 coulombs of electric current is passed through fused anhydrous magnesium chloride. The magnesium metal thus obtained is completely converted into Grignard reagent. Number of moles of Grignard reagent obtained is. So, what do I understand from this question? I have magnesium chloride, anhydrous magnesium chloride. For that, I am passing 9.65 coulombs of electric current to precipitate or to get magnesium, which all of the magnesium is got converted into Grignard reagent. So, first I have to find out the number of moles of magnesium which I will get, which is equal to the amount of Grignard reagent which is formed, isn't it? So, how exactly we will do that? First, magnesium chloride will form magnesium plus 2 ion and 2 Cl minus ion. Magnesium ion will take up 2 electron to get deposited as magnesium metal. So, 2 Faraday current has to be passed to get 1 mole of magnesium. 2 Faradays, 2 into 96,500 coulomb I have to pass to get 1 mole. So, I am passing 9.65 coulomb. Then, how much? So, total number of moles of magnesium is 9.65 into 1 divided by 2 into 96,500. So, what will be the answer here? It is, I just have to move the points, another 2 points. So, it is 1, 2, 3, 4 points I have moved. So, it is 10 to the power minus 4. This and this gets cancelled. Half is 0.5. So, 5 into 10 to the power minus 5. So, the answer is option D. 5 into 10 power minus 5. Okay. So, I hope you have understood. It's quite easy problem. Next question. Which one of the following does not involve coagulation? Option A, peptization. Option B, formation of delta region. Option C, clotting of blood by the use of ferric chloride. Option D, treatment of drinking water with potash alum. So, which does not involve coagulation? Yelli coagulation agalla anta kelta idare. Here, only answer is peptization. What we are doing? Precipitate we are converting into a colloidal solution. There coagulation is not happening. Delta region or purification of water or clotting of blood involves coagulation. So it is option A, peptization, in which coagulation does not occur. Okay. So we'll go to the next question. In alkaline medium, alanine exists predominantly as or in zwitterion form, anion form, covalent form, or cationic form. So here in alkaline medium, what is the form of alanine? It will be in anionic form. Okay, it will have a negative charge because it is in the alkaline medium. Okay. 46th question. The standard EMF of galvanic cell involving 3 moles of electron in its redox reaction is 0.59 volt. The equilibrium constant for the reaction of the cell is option A 10 to the power 20, option B 10 to the power 25, option C 10 to the power 30, option D 10 to the power 15. So we have to find out what equilibrium constant. What is the formula? If you know the E naught of the cell and the number of electrons involved in the reaction, we can calculate the equilibrium constant. And the formula is E naught of the cell is equal to 0.0591 divided by N log Kc. So E naught of the cell is given as 0.59. N, number of electrons involved is 3 moles. I am just taking or rearranging it. Divide by 0.0591 is equal to log Kc. So if I solve this, I am going to get it as 30. Correct? Yes. So 30 is equal to log Kc, or Kc is equal to anti-log of 30, which is equal to 10 to the power 30. So option C is the right answer. So I hope you have understood how to solve this. Correct? We'll go to the next question. Benzaldehyde and acetone can be best distinguished using option A, sodium hydroxide solution, option B, Fehling solution, option C, Tollens reagent, option D, 2,4 DNPH. So we have an aldehyde and we have an ketone, correct? In aldehyde, we have an aromatic aldehyde. Okay. So which is the one which can distinguish these both? That is benzaldehyde and acetone. DNPH test is common for carbonyl group. So we cannot use this to distinguish. Fehling solution, both of them won't answer this test. So we can't use. Sodium hydroxide solution, of course we cannot use. So it should be Tollens reagent test. For Tollens reagent test, benzaldehyde will answer but acetone will not answer. Thus, we can use Tollens reagent to distinguish between both the organic compound. Okay. Next question. Which one of the following statement is true? Drying of oil involves hydrolysis. Saponification of oil yields diols. Refining of oil involves hydrogenation. Option D, addition of antioxidant to oil minimizes rancidity. So they are asking which is true or which is the correct statement. First one we'll see, drying of oil or hardening of oil involves hydrolysis. No, it is not hydrolysis. It is hydrogenation. Okay. So we can't use that or it's not correct. Saponification of oil yields diols. No, it yields triols like glycerol. Okay. Refining of oil involves hydrogenation, not hydrogenation. Distillation or any other process can be used but not hydrogenation. So option A, B, C are wrong. So this should be the correct one. Addition of antioxidant to oil minimizes rancidity. Yes, addition of antioxidant, it will not allow the oxidation to take place. It's an antioxidant and thus it will minimize the rancidity or spoilage of the oil. Okay. So option D is the right answer. We shall go to the next question. 49th. The following data is obtained during the first order thermal decomposition of 2A giving B plus C at constant volume and temperature. First, what is given is at the end of 10 minutes, the total pressure is 300. After completion, the total pressure is 200. The rate constant in per minute is 6.93, 0.0693, 69.3, 0.00693. So we have to tell what is the rate constant of the first order reaction which is given according to this data. So how are we going to solve this? First is, we'll take the equation 2A gas giving B a gas plus C a solid. Okay. So initial concentration, I'll consider it as P naught, that is initial concentration. At time t is equal to 10 minutes, I have P naught minus 2P to give P. Okay. So at time 10 minutes, I have P naught minus 2P plus P, which is equal to 300. Correct? So this will be P naught minus P, which is equal to 300. Correct? Minus 2P plus P I have, so it is minus P which will remain. So P naught minus P is equal to 300. I also know this is because after completion, P naught by 2 is also equal to 200. That is, here I have 2, but here I have only 1 mole. So P naught by 2 is equal to 200. So P naught will be equal to 400. Okay. Thus, how do we solve this? We have to put in the equation K is equal to 2.303 by T log of P naught by molar concentration of P after time T is P naught minus 2P. So this will be 2.303 by 10 log of 400, that is the P naught value, and P naught is 400 minus 2 into P naught is 400, then P value will be P naught minus 300, that is 100. Correct? So 2.303 by 10 log of 400 by 200 I will get. So 4 by 2, 2 ones are 2 twos are log 2. So 2.303 into 0.3010 divide by 10. That is nothing but it is 0.0693. Thus, the answer is option B. Okay. So that's how we are solving this. Next question we shall go. Phenol with X forms tribromo derivative. What is X? See, phenol to get tribromo derivative, that is all the three, 2 orthoplaces as well as paraplace, 3 position bromine has to get substituted. What do we use? We use bromine water, isn't it? So bromine in water, bromine in benzene, bromine in carbon tetrachloride at 0 degrees Celsius, potassium bromide solution. It is bromine water we use. So it is option A is the correct answer. So shall we move to the next question? 51. The correct sequence of steps involved in mechanism of Cannizaro's reaction is option A, transfer of H minus, transfer of H plus and nucleophilic attack, nucleophilic attack, transfer of H minus and transfer of H plus, electrophilic attack of OH minus, transfer of H plus, transfer of H minus, transfer of H plus, nucleophilic attack and transfer of H minus. So here what we need to know is the mechanism in Cannizaro's reaction. What is happening after which? Whether first is nucleophilic attack, then the transfer of H plus and transfer of H minus. What exactly is happening? We have to look into the correct option and tick. If we look into the Cannizaro's mechanism reaction, first there is a nucleophilic attack, that is 2 HC double bond OH, OH minus will attack. So this will attack here and this bond will form here. So nucleophilic attack, only the first step if you know, you can answer this question because see option A, transfer of H minus is first. Option C, if you see, electrophilic attack is first. OH minus is not an electrophile at all, so this is wrong. Again, transfer of H plus is there first. So obviously it is option B. Even if you don't know the mechanism, you can answer if you know the first step. Okay, first OH minus will attack. You will get HCO minus, OH and H. So one more molecule will come now, HC double bond O. And now what will happen? Hydride transfer will happen. Here this will go, this will come. So you are going to get carbon with O minus, H, H and H. For this again you will have one more compound with OH and H and O double bond. Again there is a proton transfer which is happening to get the final product of the Cannizzaro reaction. So I am not writing the entire mechanism, but if you know the first step you can answer this particular question. Okay, so that's about the 51st question. Next question, which one of the following is an example for homogeneous catalysis? Manufacture of ammonia by Haber's process? That's not homogeneous catalysis, is it? Because we are using iron as a catalyst, which is a solid, and gases are the reactants, isn't it? So that cannot be used. Manufacture of sulfuric acid, again you are using gases and you're using a solid as a catalyst, that is vanadium pentoxide. Again, B is not the answer. Option C, hydrogenation of oil, and option D, hydrolysis of sucrose in the presence of dilute HCl. So here if you see hydrogenation of oil, again oil is a liquid and hydrogenation of oil, that is you pass hydrogen gas, isn't it? So again it's not a homogeneous catalysis. It should be option D, hydrolysis of sucrose. Sucrose is in the form of a liquid sugar solution. For that you add dilute HCl. There is hydrolysis which will happen, isn't it? Thus, this is the one which is homogeneous catalysis, in which all are in the liquid state. So thus, option D is the correct answer. Next, we will go to the next question, 53rd one. The empirical formula of a non-electrolyte is C1H2O. A solution containing 6 grams of the compound exerts the same osmotic pressure as that of 0.05 molar glucose solution at the same temperature. The molecular formula of the compound is C3H6O3, C2H4O2, C4H8O4, C2H10O5. So, what is the molecular formula of the molecule? You need to find out what is given. The empirical formula is given. Then a solution containing 6 grams of the compound exerts same osmotic pressure as that of 0.05 molar glucose solution is the data which is given. So as the osmotic pressure is equal, concentration of the compound is equal to the concentration of the glucose solution. So what we need to do is, here I don't have the concentration, here I have the concentration. So mass I have, mass by molecular mass is equal to the molar concentration of glucose, correct? So if I just rearrange, I'll get the molecular mass, that is 6 divided by 0.05. This is nothing but equal to 120. So I got the molecular mass of the compound. Empirical formula is CH2O, which is 12 plus 2 plus 16, that is equal to 30. So this is the empirical formula mass. So N is equal to molecular mass by empirical formula mass. So molecular mass is 120, empirical formula mass is 30. So I'll get it as 4. Correct? So CH2O 4 times is C4H8O4. So the answer is option C. Okay. So I hope you have understood this question. We shall see the next question. A white crystalline salt A reacts with dilute HCl to liberate a suffocating gas B and also forms an yellow precipitate. The gas B burns potassium dichromate acidified with dilute H2SO4 to green colored solution C. What are A, B and C respectively? So they have given Na2S2O3, SO2 and Cr2SO4 thrice, Na2SO3, SO2, Cr2SO4 thrice. Then they have given Na2SO4 and also Na2S. If you see the second and the third one, it is same. So We know that a white crystalline precipitate A reacts with dilute HCl to liberate a suffocating gas B. So B, we know it is sulfur dioxide gas because all of them have the same answer. Okay, and also forms a yellow precipitate. The gas B turns potassium dichromate to, that is acidified potassium dichromate to green color to give C, that is Cr2SO4 thrice, which is actually green color. So we know what is B and C. Now we have to get to the answer. What is A, which can give sulfur dioxide gas when it reacts with dilute HCl? Correct? Among these options, if you see, Na2S2O3, Na2SO3, Na2SO4, Na2S, it is Na2S2O3. When it is treated with HCl, will form NaCl, sulfur dioxide, and it will form sulfur as well as water. So you are going to get sulfur dioxide gas when you are treating Na2S2O3 with HCl. Whereas if you take the others and treat, you will not get sulfur dioxide gas, which is suffocating. Okay. So option A is the right answer. Fine. 55th question. Molecules of a noble gas do not possess vibrational energy because a noble gas is chemically inert, is monoatomic, is diamagnetic, has completely filled orbitals. See, it does not possess vibrational energy because it is monoatomic. So option B is the right answer. Okay. Next question. 1 dm cube of solution containing 10 to power 5 moles of Cl minus ion and CrO4 2 minus ions is treated with 10 power minus 4 moles of silver nitrate. Which one of the following observation is made? That is, silver chromates get precipitated first. Precipitation does not occur. Both silver chromate and silver chloride start precipitating simultaneously. Silver chloride precipitates first. First of all, we have to know that ionic product should be greater than the solubility product for precipitation. What is it? Ionic product should be greater than the solubility product. And they have given us the solubility product of AgCl and Ag2CrO4. So, we will find out the ionic product. So, first the ionic product of Ag2CrO4 is equal to Ag square CrO4 2 minus. So here you will get Ag. What is the silver ion? Sorry, Ag plus I have to write. So Ag plus ion is 10 power minus 4 square into CrO4 minus is 10 to the power minus 5. So here photos are 8. 8 into, that is 10 to power minus 8 into 10 power minus 5 is, it is equal to 10 to power minus 13. Now what is the solubility product? 4 into 10 power minus 12. So ionic product is not greater than solubility product. So this will not form PPT. Okay. Whereas AgCl will see, AgCl ionic product is Ag plus into Cl minus. Ag plus is 10 power minus 4 and Cl minus is 10 to the power minus 5. So this is 10 to the power minus 9. What is the solubility product? Solubility product is lesser than the ionic product, or I can tell ionic product is greater than the solubility product. Thus, silver chloride gets precipitated first. So which is the correct option? Option D, silver chloride gets precipitated first is the correct answer. Shall we move on to the next question? pH value of which one of the following is not equal to 1? 0.05 molar H2SO4, option B 0.1 molar HNO3, or option C 50 cm cube of 0.4 molar HCl plus 50 cm cube of 0.2 molar NaOH, and option D 0.1 molar CH3COOH. So what is it they are asking? pH value of which one of the following is not equal to 1? If we see the options, if I calculate the pH of this, it's a strong acid, okay, it has dibasic also. So 0.05 molar H2SO4 if I calculate, I'll get pH 1. 0.1 molar HNO3, we'll get it as 1. If we calculate this also, we are going to get the pH as 1 because 0.4 molar HCl and 0.2 molar NaOH, 0.2 molar NaOH and 0.2 molar of HCl will neutralize one another and you will have another 0.2 molar which is remaining, and 50 cm cube. If we calculate, we are going to get the answer as 1. But CH3COH will not have the pH equal to 1 because it's a weak acid. Complete ionization will not happen. Thus, the pH will not be equal to 1. Okay, it will be less than 1. Thus, option D is the right answer. 58th question. E1, E2, E3 are the EMF values of the 3 galvanic cells respectively. They have given A, B, C, that is 3 galvanic cells. We have to find out which of the following is true, which is in the proper order we need to find out. So, what is the formula? It is E cell is equal to E naught of the cell minus 0.0591 divided by 2, because we know it is plus 2 state, so 2 electrons are involved, log of Zn plus 2 by Cu plus 2. In the first case, if you see, it is 1 log of 1 divided by 0.1. Second case, it is 1 by 1. And in the third case, it is log of 0.1 by 1. So, if you see this, when it is 0.1 by 1, this becomes plus. So, E3 will be greater, correct? Then, this is 0. So, E2 will be lesser, and this will be still minus of E naught cell. So, this will be the least. So, it is E3, then we have E2 and E1, that is option A is the right answer. Okay. We'll see the next question. The IUPAC name of. So, what is the IUPAC name of the compound? Instead of just reading the options, directly we can write it off. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, the second carbon atom is having the CH3 group. So, it is 2-methyl 3-bromo pentanal. So, it is 2-methyl 3-bromo pentanal we have to use because it's 5 carbon atom chain. 3-bromo 2-methyl pentanol, 2-methyl 3-bromo. Here it is butanol, hexanol, butanol. So, it should be option C, 3-bromo 2-methyl pentanol. So, option C is the right answer. We'll see the next question and the last question. Which one of the following forms propane nitrile as a major product? Propyl bromide with alcoholic KCN, it will give 4 carbon atoms. Propane nitrile will have only 3 carbon atoms. That is, it is C2H5CN. Okay. So, it is ethyl bromide with alcoholic KCN or ethyl bromide with alcoholic AgCN, or it is propyl bromide with alcoholic AgCN. We need an ethyl group and CN group to come and get attached. So, it is ethyl bromide with alcoholic KCN, which is the correct answer. Right? So, that's about the 60 questions of Karnataka CET 2010 question paper. Thank you, my dear children. I hope you have understood. Stay tuned, stay focused for more update.